I've sold over $100 million in paint jobs through my own company. I've coached thousands of painting contractors over the last decade, and I've had tens of thousands of people download my estimating formulas and guides and use them to price paint jobs. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to make interior estimating simple. This process I'm gonna lay out is how we priced interior painting until we did 2 or 3 million a year in sales. And at the end of the video, I'll show you how we estimate interior painting now as a $35 million a year company. Let's dive in. So when I first started my painting company, I was only doing exterior painting. I went door to door, I chose my customers, I pressed exterior jobs. They were easy to estimate, easy to win, easy to paint, and I liked easy. But once our business got to $750,000, $1 million a year, we started turning down so much interior business that we just had to start doing it because it was like flushing money down the toilet. And so I needed to learn how to estimate interior painting. And this is how I thought about it. I said, well, I know how to estimate one room, so let's just start there. So first we decide how we price one room. It's a 12 by 12 room with 8-foot ceilings. And then we break this room down into each one of its components. So we have the walls, we have trim, we have the ceiling, we have the door, and we have the closet. And so all we need to do is come up with a price for each of these. We're only paying the walls $700. We're only doing the trim $150. The ceiling we'll say is $150. The door is $50, and the closet we'll say is another $150. So if someone wanted us to do the whole thing, it would just be $700 plus $150. $150 is $1,000. It would be $1,200 to do this room, walls, trim, ceiling, door, closet. So all we've got to do first is come up with a price for one room. And this is pretty good. And so if a customer just wants us to do the walls, it's $700. If they want us to do walls, trim, and ceiling, then it's going to be $1,000. All right, so there's a few assumptions that we're going to make here. The first is we're just assuming that this is $35 a gallon for the paint to come up with these prices. We're assuming this is going to be 2 coats. Not every job is 2 coats, but we're going to assume we always put on 2 coats on an interior. This price includes materials and labor, and it's the price we give to the customer. It's the final price we actually show the customer. And this is for a standard room. What that means is we're not doing any crazy custom finishes. We're not talking about all this prep work. We're not talking about needing to fix drywall, do repairs, do caulking. It's like, look, it's just a pretty standard, simple 12 by 12 bedroom with 8-foot ceilings with normal paint we're putting on the walls. That is our 1-bedroom bid. So this is the building block for building an entire bid for an entire house. If you can bid interior painting for one room, you can bid an entire house. So here we have our one room. And because we know how to bid one room, then we know how to bid many rooms. So this is how I would do it at an estimate. When I meet with the customer, I literally draw up the house plan. So I draw the house and then we just put in the different rooms. And I say, okay, that's gonna be room 1. This is like some hallway. And then we've got room 2, room 3 is out here. And we'll just call this kind of diamond room, even though they're not separated. So we'll do a dotted line there. And we'll just call this hallway room 5. Let's just say in this case, the customer wanted the walls and the trim and the ceiling done. All right, so they want walls, trim, ceiling for every room that we're doing, and we're doing these 5 rooms. So I can go and say, hey, this one's a 12 by 12 room. So that one's pretty standard, so we're gonna give them the standard $1,000 price. Room 2, it's a little bit bigger. You know, it's about 30% bigger, so we're gonna price that room at $1,300. Room number 3, that one's about, let's see, double the size. And so that one's gonna be like $2,000 to paint that room. Room number 4, a little bit bigger, so that's maybe $1,200. And then room number 5 is really a hallway. It's about half the size. We can do that one for $500. And then I can total these up and I get my price to my customer. Now, if my customer wanted other prices and they say, and I want that door and I want that closet, then we can do it. And you don't even need to draw the floor plan. You can literally just like count the rooms, like room 1, it's 12 by 12, room 2, 15 by 15, and you can get pretty close. This is literally how we bid $6,000 interior paint jobs until we were doing $2 or $3 million a year. Is it perfect? No. Did it get us pretty close? Yes. And what's also nice is we could actually break down a customer's entire job into these rooms, because oftentimes customers are surprised at how expensive interior painting is. And I can just show them like one room at a time, like that's how much that one is. And they're like, well, that makes sense. That makes sense, because people always underestimate how much work there is on interior painting. So this is how we can take estimating one room and turn it into a bid where we can do many rooms. A simple estimating system is nice, but it won't work forever. You have to build it the right way. So there's some things that this obviously doesn't take into account. So let's just address what some of those are. The first one is moving furniture. This is something that you're going to need to figure out in your business and adjust these prices. So what you might find out is, hey, we're charging $1,200, but it's not enough in my market. Then you can move up your standard room to $1,400, and now you've got a standard. Or you might say, hey, we're actually a little high in our market at $1,200. Let's bring that down to $1,000. You might say my paint costs less, so you can bring that down. So you're gonna adjust for your one room bid to get that right. You might say, hey, I think the walls is a little high, adjust that. So this gives you a template to adjust. Once you have one room, you have a bid for many rooms. But the things we're not accounting for here is, one is moving furniture, another is disconnecting, reconnecting any like AV equipment or things like that people might have. Another thing it's not gonna account for is prep work. There's not a lot in here. Every room's gonna have some basic prep work, but in terms of drywall patching, fixing any holes, cleaning up any trim, there are things that you might need to do, and prep work is not really accounted for here. This is gonna get us within 10%, 15% of the correct price, but it's not gonna be as accurate as it could be because we're not accounting for these things. Another thing we're not accounting for is custom finishes. That starts to get it really complicated when we start looking at interior stains and things like that. It's not taking into account color changes. Sometimes if you're changing from certain colors to other colors, it's gonna actually require 3 coats or even 4 coats in some crazy cases. So it's not gonna account for those situations. And it's also not gonna account for timelines. So sometimes customers have really funky timelines that make the project more challenging, and we have to charge more money for those timelines. So these are all like some different considerations that aren't gonna work for this simple system. All right, so now that we're a $35 million a year business, this is how we're estimating interior paint jobs today. So there's 2 main things that we need to price our jobs at scale to be really accurate, really profitable, and have integrity and consistency throughout our business. The first thing is we need to account for all of these factors, plus we need everything to be based on measurement. I can't have people out there in the field making judgment calls because right now we have 20 reps out there selling paint jobs. We need all 20 of those people to walk into the same house and come out with the exact same price. And the only way we can do that is if our system is based purely on measurement and standards. How we did this at first is we did this system we just walked through, and we did this until 2016 because there weren't any other options. There was no software, there was no estimating software. Then we made a transition and we put hundreds of hours into building a spreadsheet. And so this spreadsheet did all of our calculations for us. So someone could go through and open a new room on the spreadsheet and put in all the dimensions, tick the boxes of what we want bids for. And it literally took us hundreds of hours to design this spreadsheet. Then we evolved and we actually switched to an estimating software, which now we use Paint Scout. And that's the one we use because we have tested a bunch. That's the one we like best. That's the one we think is the best. And that's the software that I recommend to all my Painting Business Pro members. It's like $100, $150 a month. They're building a CRM into it. And that works really, really well and saves you tons of time. So you can start to skip right past this kind of old system and go straight to bidding paint jobs with software, which instantly creates consistency and will save you years of doing it the way that we had to do it. So we live in an amazing time. There's amazing tools. Take advantage of them. So we run this $35 million company over here. It's called National Painting Group. And at National Painting Group, we have 11 companies that we operate. Foothills Painting is one of the first companies that I started, and that company is on track for $9 million in revenue this year. And then one of our other larger companies, we call these our model companies, that's Elkhorn Painting, is on track for probably more like $10 million in revenue this year. Across this whole portfolio, we do $35 million per year. And then over here, I operate Painting Business Pro. At Painting Business Pro, this is where I coach painting contractors, and we help people go from zero to about $3 million per year in business, put a team in place so that you can run a great business, make great money, and run it in 10 to 15 hours a week. So we've helped hundreds of painting contractors build $1 million painting company. Dozens of them have built multi-million-dollar companies. And I even have customers and members who are over $10 million a year now. So we coach painting contractors here. And at Painting Business Pro, we have everything you need. So first, we have the playbooks. Every part of this business, from business planning to marketing, estimating, sales, project management, setting up your CRM, mastering your time, and then recruiting, training, developing, and managing your team. Like everything you need from 0 up to $3 million a year, we have the playbooks. We've already figured that out at our companies over here at National Painting Group, and we give you access to those playbooks. We also have all the training. So imagine you flew out, got trained by me, by my team on sales. Well, we do that. We just record everything and we give you those videos so you can watch them again, and even share them with your team. The third thing that we do is we have coaching. So me and my executive team, my leadership team, the experts I have in every part of the business, we have weekly coaching webinars where you can show up and ask us questions one-on-one, and we give you one-on-one answers to everything that you need. Along with coaching, we also have a great community, accountability groups, a private Facebook group, all that stuff. And then we also do events. So these are in-person events, leadership development events, fast track events where we get hands-on with you, help you build your business fast. So that's what we do here at Painting Business Pro. And then when we work with certain people for a year or 2 years and we meet you at events and we teach you all our stuff and we know you and you know us, there's some people that end up being the perfect people for us to partner with. So that's what we do over here at National Painting Group is we acquire part of your business, we become partners, and we help you scale up to 10 million plus per year at National Painting Group. So if you're interested in getting help with building and scaling a company, check out the description. There's a lot of ways you can get my help. We have tons of resources on YouTube. We've got tons of resources for free on the website. You can apply to work with us and get coaching, but we'd love to help. And I would recommend, if you're serious about building and scaling a company, check out this video about how to build and scale $1 million business, and we'll talk to you soon.